Hi guys, welcome to another Barb Stamps video. Today's video is going to be a really cute card that uses the Cactus Cuties stamp set and the Cactus Builder Punch. This does happen to be one of the cards that is in my class to go for the month of March, my Create Where You Are class to go for the month of March. And let's get started and I'll show you how to make this. So we're going to start out with a soft succulent card base. This is 8.5 by 5.5. I have taken a piece of the 2021 to 2023 in color designer paper package. This has all of the 2021 to 2023 in colors in it. And there are basically 4 different patterns because there are 2 patterns on one side and 2 patterns on the other, and all of the colors do have the same patterns. You will get some of this in your kit for the class if you purchase that. So this measures 4 1/4 by 5.5, and we're just going to add this to the front of the card. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer of white that will go inside the card. And then I have a little piece of white here that measures 2 inches by, I think it's 3.5. Let me bring my ruler in here just to make sure, about 3.5. And I have taken the Penned Flowers dies. And there is this really cool kind of edge border type die, and I did just run that through my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that happens to be 20% off this month to get that fun detail. So if you do order the kit from me, you will get that piece already cut for you. I also have a 1 inch by 3.5 inch piece of Misty Moonlight. And then I have a just a scrap of white that we're going to do some stamping on, and we're going to do a little bit of fussy cutting as well. So let me bring in some stamps here. So I've got the large double cactus here. I have one of the pots. And then I have the sentiment that says, hope your day is on point. So I'm going to start with the cactus here. And I like to, since these are pretty bold stamps, I like to take a piece of Scotch tape before I actually ink them up, just to get off any dust or lint that may have accumulated on the stamps. I'm sure you guys have, dust and lint in your house just like I do. So putting a piece of Scotch tape on there will really help get that lint off, so that when you ink up your stamp, you get a nice bold image. I'm also going to bring in one of our Stampin' Pierce mats. This is going to help me get a nice impression with the stamps. So this little pot here, I am going to ink up in Misty Moonlight, and I'm just going to stamp that here on the scrap of white. Then I'm going to bring in my soft Succulent. This is one of our 2021-2023 in colors. Going to stamp, whoops, I'm going to add a little bit more ink to that, and then I'm going to stamp that just about right there. I'm also going to need one of these trio leaves here from the set, and I'm going to stamp that about right here, because all these pieces I'm going to cut out with some scissors. And then the final piece that I need to stamp is this pot here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring my tape in and get off any lint, and I can sort of see there is some hair or something that was on this stamp, so it was a good thing I did that. So I'm going to ink that up in my Misty Moonlight again, and I'm going to stamp that right there. And actually, you know what, I should have stamped that the other way. Let me grab another scrap. Here's a little scrap here, and I'm going to ink this up one more time, and I'm going to stamp it kind of upside down. There we go. And what is kind of cool about this, the reason I stamped it upside down, was I'm going to use, this is the punch that you can get with your bundle of products. And this spot here is for this pot. You can see that you could, well, I can do it now since I have this one that I kind of messed up. So I can stamp that, or I can punch that and I get that. But I want it to be a little bit skinnier. So I'm going to use this piece over here that's kind of designed to punch out the cactus, this cactus piece right here, but I want it to be a pot. So I'm going to just punch it out, and then I'm just going to snip off the top, and then I have kind of a fun little rounded pot there. So that's going to go on the inside along with this trio of leaves here. So I'm going to fussy cut this stuff out, And I think I'll go ahead and just speed up the video so it's not quite that boring for you. All right, let's get all these little pieces out of the way here. Let me get rid of my trash. All right, I thought now would be the perfect time to tell you what you get when you purchase the class from me. It's called the Cactus Cuties. The class kit is $45, and that includes a half a pack of the 2021-2023 in color papers. It includes a pack of the 2021-2023 in color jewels, a half a pack of our vellum doilies, a half a roll of our linen thread that I will have wound on these cute little spools for you. You'll get a half a roll of this gorgeous soft succulent satin shimmer ribbon. You'll get envelopes, and you'll get a pre-cut cardstock pack to make 8 cards, 2 each of all the designs. So you'll get 8 total, 2 each. You'll get enough supplies to make 2 of these, along with supplies for 3 other cards. I will email you the file after I mail the packets out. They should be going out of here around the 18th of March. And if you want to add on the Cactus Cuties stamp set or the Cactus Cuties punch or the bundle, you can certainly do that. The cost of the kit is $45. If you want to add the bundle together, the bundle is $38.50. If you just want the punch, that is $22. If you just want the stamp set, that is $21. And all the links will be in the description. So we need to ink up our sentiment and stamp it on this piece of Misty Moonlight. So here are my embossing supplies. I'm going to first start out with a little anti-static bag. Stampin' Up! Used to call these embossing buddies. We don't sell it anymore, but I do have it linked below for you from a different vendor. So I'm going to rub that on there. That's just going to prevent my embossing powder from sticking where I don't want it. And so now I'm going to ink up my stamp in Versamark. And my theory on Versamark is you ink it up until you think you have enough, and then you go ahead and add some more. All right, so I'm going to stamp this in the centered from top to bottom, and then just slightly off from the right edge. Okay. And now my little anti-static bag should do me a big favor here and not allow any of this embossing powder to stick anywhere except on the Versamark ink. So I am using our basics embossing powders. The basics are white, clear, and black. Get that. I do have just one little tiny little spot here right by the H. So I'm going to flick that off. Go ahead and put the lid back on my ink. And then since I got my little powder tray here, I'm going to be able to funnel that embossing powder right back into the container. And along with the embossing buddy or anti-static bag, you can find these little trays linked below also for you. All right, so now I'm going to bring in my heat tool and some cross-lock tweezers. I love using cross-lock tweezers. That way I don't have to hold the paper. That way I won't burn my hand. So if you're interested in some cross-lock tweezers, check out the description box. All right, there we go. Let me put these things away. So now we can start on the inside layer of the card. And I've just got a piece of white here. And like I said, this measures 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to place it on one of our little grid sheets. These were kind of designed for our Stamparatus, but I love them. I use them constantly. I love the fact that they're the perfect little size for my stamp area. Plus, I love that they have grids and a ruler on them. So the Stampin' Up! Does have these in the catalog. So if you're interested in getting some, you know where to get them. All right, so I'm going to use one of these little vellum doilies as a mask. So I'm going to add a little bit of detail here in the corner. So the vellum doilies are really cute. Now, the only thing, one of the things that you need to be mindful of is when they come to you, sometimes they still have some of these little pieces are not all the way, haven't all been poked out. So just go ahead and use your take your pick tool and get rid of all of those. If there are any extra ones, I just like to poke them out and then they stick on my finger really nicely. I also have sprayed the back of this with some tacky spray, some stencil spray. It's called Pixie Spray. It's pretty cool. I love it for these doilies. It's great for, and it's also great for our decorative masks. We have 3 different packages of masks, and the adhesive spray is really helpful for keeping your mask in place. So you don't have to use it, but if you have some, it's amazing. If you don't have it, I've got it linked below for you. So I have sprayed this. I took my cross-lock tweezers. I went over to my utility sink in my laundry room here, and I shook the spray. You shake it up really, really well. You spray it from a distance, and then it's kind of sticky, and then you can just lay it on your project, and it will stay there for you. So you just press it down. See, it's not going anywhere, and that is going to be really helpful. I find a lot of times I struggle with my masks and stencils because they move around so much. So using this is a pretty cool trick. And as far as this goes, I'll probably just toss it in the trash. But if you do use a decorative mask, you can just use some soap and water to get this off, or you can use some hand sanitizer and it will come off. So I'm going to use one of my sponge daubers. Sponge daubers do come in your kit. I forgot to mention that when I was telling you all the goodies that come in the kit. You get all these things, plus you get sponge daubers because you're going to need them. And I'm going to tap it into my ink, and then I'm going to pounce a little bit of it off. And then I'm just going to kind of pounce and twist gently on my cardstock here through my little mask that I've created for myself. And now I'm not trying to get every part of this doily colored. I just want to add a little bit of interest to the inside of the card. Okay. So then I can just peel this right off. It does not take off any of the paper. It just comes right off. And I had done this before as I was practicing, and I was able to stick and restick this about 6 times before it kind of started on the edges, maybe because of my fingers were touching it, where it didn't want to really stick that well, but it was still decent. So I think I'm really excited to have that added to my arsenal. I'm gonna love using that. Okay, so on the inside, I am going to add these pieces here. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the base of my little trio of leaves here. There we go, just a little bit. And then I'm going to actually put them in my pot like that. And then I am going to just add them to the inside of the card. So I have this fun little detail on the inside here. There we go. Put the lid on that. Okay, so now we can go to the front where we have our piece of designer series paper. I'm going to use my seal adhesive, and I'm going to just run that around the whole thing and get that stuck on the front layer. And now remember, this does cover the whole thing. There we go. Okay. And then for this piece here, I want to bring in some of my soft succulent ribbon. And what I want to do with this is I want to add a little, I want to have it so that a little bit sticks out at the top and a little bit sticks out at the bottom. So I'm going to bring in some scissors, and I'm going to cut off a couple of chunks of this. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and add some seal to the back of both edges. Whoops, I think I got some adhesive. I got a little crazy with that. There we go. And so I'm going to stick this. I just want a little bit, like maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, sticking out from the bottom and from the top. And I find with ribbon, you can reposition it pretty easily if you, need to add a little more or take some away. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right. And so then I am going to snip the end off here. There we go. And then I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to add some more seal to the back of this. And then I'm going to put that right here at the edge of the card on the side. I'm trying to make sure that it's evenly spaced. All right, and then we're going to bring in this little fun piece here, and I'm going to go ahead and add my cactus. Add a little bit of glue down there, and then I'm going to press my pot on top of that. Oops, moved around a little bit on me there. Okay, and then I've got some dimensionals. Where do I have some? I've got some that I need to trim. Whoops, that's not what I'm looking for. Getting to the edge here, so that's always fun to use up some dimensionals. So we'll just add a few pieces here to this cute little pot. And then we'll just set the pot right there on the label. And then the label is going to go right like that. Such a cute layout. I love this. All right, so let's just get that lined up with the edge there. And then finally, we're going to bring the punch back in, and I've got a scrap of Blushing Bride. And I'm going to get myself 3 little flowers here. One, two, got all these bits flying around. Now here's, oh, there was one inside there. I had some extras laying around. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of glue right up here at the top of these cactus arms, and then I'm going to add a little bit right there. Bring in my take your pick tool, and we're going to add these to the card. So cute. I have just been absolutely loving this set. I love trying it with all different colors. It's just so much fun. Okay, now I'm going to bring in my gems. I've got some gems here, and I've got some of these soft succulent little gems here, and I'm going to stick those right at the base of each flower. All right, and then finally, I'm going to bring in some linen thread. This, of course, is my linen thread. It comes on a roll like this. It's got 15 yards, but then I've split it up, and then I'm putting it on these cute little spools for you guys. And I am going to tie a little bow here. Tie a bow, make some loops. And then I just like to manipulate it so that my loops are about the same size. I do like loops to be the same size. Okay, and we're going to trim that excess off, and I'm going to bring in a mini glue dot. And then you can use your take your pick tool, your fingernail, whatever you have. I like to roll the dots up into like a little log. And I am going to put that little glue dot right here on the top of my pot. And then I'm going to add my little bow of linen thread there. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Go ahead and bring our inside layer in, and we'll get that added to the inside. And now with my classes to go, you do get envelopes for all of your cards. So let me get the envelope. We're going to decorate that too. All right, so here's my envelope, and I like to use liquid glue, and I just put a very small bead of glue as close to the edge as I can get it, but I'm not really squirting out a ton. It's just a very thin, flat bead. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my, I think we'll go with this pattern on the front. This is some more of the soft succulent, and this piece is cut to 2.5 by 6. That's the size I like to cut when I'm doing envelopes. I'm going to trim this excess off here. All right, so there we have our card. And remember, this is one of the cards that's included in your class. If you need to order the class, please go ahead and click the links in the description below, and I would be very happy. The classes are amazing. I have never had anybody complain. In fact, I get rave reviews on all of my classes. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this card, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.